What's up, guys? So, got a little something in the mail today. Nothing crazy, just the Subaru coolant, not these nuts. But yeah, I got a couple things to do today. Accompanied by Mrs. Yibu. What's up, Mrs. Yibu? How you doing? Just does a little smile and nod. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. So, I gotta flip my fronts. But I also have to bleed the coolant, like burp it again. So I think what I'm gonna do is just push my car back, let it run outside with the coolant funnel, and then throw some more coolant in it, and then, you know, just see if it needs any more. And then I'm gonna fill the overflow. Since I didn't have enough to fill the overflow, I had just barely enough to fill the coolant and stuff last time. So, gotta move the trailer out of the way. Also, I'm gonna be doing some changes to this trailer. You see how I have the wheel chocks in the back? So what I want to do is probably throw the wheel chocks in the front and then put, you know, my pack out in the back. And I think I'm actually going to get another pack out for this side, because I found out that the jack that I use at the track, that I bring to the track, fits inside the pack out pretty much perfect. So I think I'm just going to get another pack out for that. And then there's these little plates that I can get, and I can actually mount the plate to the wood and then put the pack out on it. And then what I would do is just run like one strap over the pack outs just to, you know, make sure they're solid. And then I would do, you know, the same strap through the wheels. And then I think I'm gonna do like a strap over the wheels like this. I don't know, we'll see, we'll figure it out. Because the drift trailer is awesome. It's just kind of annoying sometimes because there's so many straps and all that. But yeah, I'm gonna empty out the FRS from the last skid event, and then back it up, start it up, and get the coolant funnel on and start burping all that. Alrighty, so basically, I got my overflow cap off. So you set that thing in there. Then you put this thing on here. There we go. Make sure that's, whoops, let's see here. Let's see what I'm doing. Oh, I guess it's not quite the right one, but it'll work. So I'm actually gonna clean this out first, but then basically just set this on here, fill it with coolant, let the car run, and then it's gonna, you know, burp into the funnel. So I'll get this cleaned out, we'll fill it with coolant. Ooh, we got that fresh new coolant. So we're gonna add this into here. See how much it takes out before it gets full. Oh, it's kind of concerning how much this is taking. There we go. Now we're starting to get full again. And then we'll fill it up to a decent amount here. There we go. And then we'll fill it up to, I don't know, about that much. Hopefully I wasn't leaking coolant anywhere. I mean, I could see some like overspray here, but I figured that was from when I bled it originally. Hopefully I don't have a coolant leak, that would suck. I mean, I don't feel anything anywhere, but I guess we'll see. Then I need my keys, which are way over here. And we'll just start this up and let it run for a while. And then goodbye Elton John, because he's gonna play my car. And yeah, I'm gonna keep this off so that it warms up a little faster. Suppose it doesn't matter what I have that on. And then we'll let it get up to temp, and then see if it burps out any more coolant. So then I also have to measure some things for Mishimoto. So I sent them a message. That one's just under 4. That one's just over 2 inches. Because I was telling them about how the rods were too long for the overflow. So they were asking me if I could just, you know, send them the lengths of everything to see if it was correct. So I got to send them the lengths of that. The lengths of the plate down below, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to measure that since it's already together. So I might just send them the length of the rods, because it looks like they need to be shortened by like an inch. So see what they say about that. So what I did is I put a little line at where the coolant line was, and of course as the coolant heats up it's going to expand, so it's went up a little bit. And one thing I want to show is I want to get solid motor mounts and solid trans mounts this off season. So I've been kind of like blipping the throttle a little bit. Well, I've been holding it at like 2500 RPM to warm up faster, but just watch the engine move. So you can see there's quite a bit of engine movement. So I want to do either stiff mounts or solid mounts to keep the engine from rocking back and forth, and same with the trans. I have a white line positive shift bushing, so that helps a little bit. But I definitely want to get a solid mount in there so that all of that power is being transferred to the wheels rather than rotating the engine and trans around. And then of course I plan on doing diff and subframe mount bushings, because I want to raise my subframe a little bit so I don't break axles like I did that one day. That sucked. But that'll also help like the diff stay in place and all that. So I want to have solid mounts on everything, because I only track this car. I hardly drive it daily. So we'll do that this winter and see how much of a difference that makes. But I can see the engine moves back and forth a little bit. And especially with that exhaust down there, there's not a lot of clearance between the overpipe and the subframe. So that'll help with that too. It won't be hitting anything at all. Alright, so I think we're warm. Lower radiator hose is warm. I just set a rag against my oil cooler line so I can reach down and squeeze it. I also realized that there's an air bleeder valve, so I could have used that when I filled the coolant if I would have known. But me, not doing research before I do things, which is weird because usually I research the shit out of everything. But yeah, we're up to temp. Radiator hoses are both warm. I think we got all the air out. I can't squeeze the hose and get any more air out. So now we're just gonna shut the car off. Gonna jam to Smeltin' John. Oh, got some air bubbles coming up there. Nothing coming out there. I'm not gonna dare doing that. But now all I gotta do is I'm gonna squeeze the lower hose a couple more times, make sure there's no more air bubbles that come up. And then I'm just gonna plug this and put that in the overflow, and then we should be good. Alright, so I can just put this rag here and then just throw my arm down here and squeeze the hose. And whoops, I got the plug in there. That's not very smart of me. And I'm not getting any more air bubbles. So now let's move that way so it doesn't start a fire. I'll just plug this guy, give her a little wiggle. Oh. Maybe. And then just put the rest of it into the overflow. Whoop. And now we're full. So now I'll just put the rest of this back into the coolant bottle. And we're mint. Alright, so I got that rest pulled back in. I got the front wheels off. I got it just sitting on some wooden blocks here. I got these. So this one, the inside isn't too terribly bad, and this one, the inside's pretty rough. So I'm gonna have my tire guy flip these and then balance them, because right now they're not balanced because they were originally gonna be rears, but now I'm gonna run these ones as rears, and I'm gonna get different tires for these. Although I think I'm gonna burn off these tires a little bit because they're still looking good enough to burn, I think, Don't want them to go to waste doing nothing. And I kind of jacked up the rear of the car a little bit, because when I had the guy at the track mount these, he put them both on the same way, but I'm really not worried about it. I want to burn these tires off. It doesn't matter to me. But that's all I'm going to do for now. Got the coolant all bled. Hopefully all the air's out of there. I'm going to keep an eye on the overflow now and, watch that. And then I'll add coolant as needed, if I lose more coolant due to air bubbles, but doesn't look like I have any leaks anywhere, so should be good. So a little bit of change of plans as per usual. There's a slidey event tomorrow, and I haven't gotten my front tires flipped, so I'm just gonna throw them on. Gonna have Gracie step on the brakes so I can tighten my spacers, because I haven't done that since I put them on. And then I'm gonna load everything up and then go drifting tomorrow, and then I'll get them flipped. Oh man, procrastination sucks. Alright guys, so Gracie and I have a fun little project. So we all know that we have these weird obsessions with toasters, the XB, and I've always thought the manual ones are cool, and so we bought a manual one. This car is the definition of a junk box. It is super rusty. Like, this is supposed to be all metal here, which I don't mind. Like, you can slam the door and rust falls off. Yeah, it's great. And cylinder number 4 is misfiring, or it might even be cylinder number 3. I was at the lady's house who's selling it, or the couple's house I should say, and I was pulling the coil packs, and 3 and 4 didn't really seem to do a whole lot of difference. Got the pickups. So I'm not exactly sure what's making it misfire. I'm gonna kind of check it out, see if I can fix it. But it's missing the side skirt, super rusty. It is manual. It shifts really well. I actually drove it home with the misfire. The lady was saying, you know, she drove it to the store the other day. So I was like, well, I might as well make it to my shop. It's only a 10-minute drive. And they had a price at $1,000 originally. Knocked the price down to $900 on Facebook Marketplace. And then I asked them if they'd take $500. They said $700, which we actually gave them $500 today. This thing is still rolling. Parking brake works good. I did a little parking brake skid in the gravel on the way here. And we gave him $500 because she has to get a replacement title. So she's gonna get the title, and when she gets the title, I'm gonna give her the $500. Because I figure if she doesn't get the title, $500 for a purse car isn't terrible. But I'm gonna see if I can fix this thing and make it stop misfiring. So let's grab the keys here. Where did I put those? I gotta find them. So, found the keys. Let's start it up. This door is great. It's about to fall off. I love it. Make sure she's out of gear. So you can hear. Exhaust is kind of crappy, but so yeah, you can see it's running really rough. And if we pull number 4, I can. There's no change. Well, actually, no, I just changed the RPM a little. And then if you pull 3, it does as well. So I did already switch 3 and 4, the coil packs, and it didn't, you know, switch it over to 3. So I think I'm gonna pull the plugs and see if I can, you know, see anything, see any oil in there or anything like that. So we'll do that. I did check the oil, and the oil seemed fine, so I'll do that on camera as well. So also another cool thing, I was doing a job at work the other day, and a guy had a set of vehicle dollies sitting. He actually had a couple sets, and I just asked him, you know, like, hey man, where'd you get those? I need to get a set. He's like, oh, well, I just had people give them to me. He's like, you want a set? So I was like, sure. So I got a set of vehicle dollies. But I'm gonna let Gracie do some recording, and we'll just check a few things on here. So first thing I checked when I got there is I checked the oil to see if it looked like a, you know, milkshake. As you can see, there's some smoke coming out of the dipstick tube, so it's definitely burning some oil. But let's do the old-fashioned leg maneuver here. And then just, well, I suppose it's not very level, but I mean, I can get an idea. And I mean, there's oil up to halfway mark, so that's a good-ish sign. I know they said they took it to like a Valvoline or something, and they had some guy, you know, check everything, and they said he couldn't figure it out. You know, I don't know how much that guy knows or whatnot, but you know, I've had a lot of experience with these cars, so we'll see if we can dig into it and figure something out. We originally bought this car to do a manual swap on Gracie's, so if I can't get this thing to run decent, we're going to use it for that. But I just think it would be really cool to fix this car and keep driving it, just because it's got 225,000 miles on it, and it would just be really interesting to see exactly how many miles we can get out of it. Man, you can tell this guy was having fun with this car, because all of the clips, the guy at Valvoline, because all the clips for the coil packs are bad. Oh, I thought that was oil at first. We'll pull these. So this one is OEM Toyota. That could be a reason. This is a knockoff or a replacement, so that could be why. And so is this one. These cars do not like aftermarket coil packs or spark plugs, so that might actually be our issue. Let's see, can't see any oil in the spark plug tube, but I'm gonna pull the plug and just kind of take a look in there. So I'll pull this thing out and just see what the plugs look like. I'm sure they're gonna be super white, because if it's not igniting, it's just gonna be super fouled. Oh yeah, there's definitely, well, I can't tell if that's oil. That might just be fuel. You can see that's super black, and it looks wet, but I think that's just the fuel. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this plug in, and I'm gonna try just replacing the coil packs, see if that helps. If that doesn't help, then I'm gonna swap the plugs from her car, and we'll throw those in and see if that helps. I kind of have a feeling that's gonna be the case. I could be wrong. I hope I'm right, because then we paid $700 for a running manual XP. I mean, it's super rusty, but you know, whatever. So now we'll go over to her car and we'll take the coil packs off of there. So we're gonna take the coil packs off of this one and just test and see, you know, if that's gonna be the issue. Because this one has OEM coil packs, new OEM coil packs. Yeah, that's the first thing I learned about this car is that they do not like replacement coil packs. This car had issues misfiring with aftermarket. My old silver automatic one had issues misfiring with aftermarket. Spark plugs definitely had a really big issue with that, with misfiring from those. So we'll get this cover off and see how it goes. So I had a little bit of an interruption there. A storage manager was stopping by to see what we were doing, hanging out. He's a really cool guy. But yeah, let's continue getting these things off here. Yeah, it's so crazy. Look at this engine and how clean it is versus the one over there. Oh my god, that one's super dirty. It needs to get cleaning. But I mean, we've taken really good care of this car. We've put like 30,000 miles on it in 2 years. More than 30,000 miles. Driven the crap out of it. It comes with like 3 wheel bearings. It's awesome. Let's pull these off. Oh, this one's got a broken clip too. Actually, I think this one was broken when we got the car, because I remember there was a zip tie around it. And there was like some crappy aftermarket coil pack. Alright, so let's pull these out of here if I can. Ow. Let's throw them on that XB. See if there's a change. Now let's head over. Alright, so let's slap these in here. They're super loose fitting too. So I'm wondering, I might need to swap the plugs over, but we'll give it a try without it. I guess we'll throw these in just for good measure. I will grab my extension. I'll tighten them at all. I'm just gonna get them tightened enough. That's how we run over here, yo. I'm excited. What if this thing runs great? That'd be super easy.
Then it runs great.
It'd be a $750 car.
Where'd you get the 50?
Coil packs. Alright, I guess let's see. I guess we'll try and swap the plugs quick. So I'm just gonna take these out. I'm gonna take out all the plugs, take out those plugs, and I'm gonna switch them. I'm not gonna do that on camera because that's a pretty lengthy process. So one thing I'm noticing here is the plug for cylinder number 1 looks pretty decent. It's a little white, but nothing terrible. Let's see what number 2 looks like. I figured it'd be a good idea to show what the plugs look like on camera. This one's kind of tight, or tough to turn. That was out. There we go, now we're definitely out. That one's looking about the same, not terrible. I'm really interested to see what number 3 looks like. Because if both these are bad, it could be a bad head gasket between the cylinders. So that'd be interesting. Interesting to see. And number 3 actually looks good. So it's just cylinder 4 that's having issues. So the plug looked wet, so it looked like it was getting fuel. It definitely smells like fuel, so it's definitely getting fuel. So it's definitely just an ignition issue, I think. So now I'm gonna pull those plugs and we'll put them in here. I'm not gonna record any of that, just because that's gonna be the real boring process. So I have all the new plugs in. Let's see if that's gonna make a difference. Hoping and praying, and the keys are on the roof. No, still missing. So I'm noticing that there's a really loud clicking noise when I unplug the injectors, both 3 and 4. So maybe I'll do a little research and see if there's anything that comes up with that. Maybe it's a bad injector. I really wish I had a compression tester so I could test the compression and see where the engine is at that way. Maybe Matt has one. I can ask him and see if he does, but for now, kind of still clueless. But let's, I want to pull this plug and see what the plug looks like. See if it has fuel, see if it's oily, and then we'll kind of see what it looks like from that. So I pulled the plug, and it definitely smells like oil. That might be a bad head gasket. So I'm gonna clean this up and throw it back in the other XP. Matt said he might have a compression tester, so I'm gonna go see if he does after I put these plugs back in her engine. And then we'll see what that looks like. So Matt was the plug. He's got a code reader, a spark checker, and a compression tester. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read those codes and see what is storing the codes. Because if it's a storing code from the injector, then it might be the injector, so on and so forth. And this will give me an idea of, you know, what exactly is going wrong. So I'm gonna get this all set up and then we'll see what these codes are. So I've got the code scanner hooked up here. So we've got cylinder 4 misfire detected. The O2 sensor is bad. Ignition coil C. Ignition coil D. Cylinder 4 misfire. Ignition coil C. Primary secondary circuit. So what was the first? So it's the same. So they're stored and then pending. So that doesn't help a whole lot. But it does tell me that although that could be from pulling the coil packs. So we'll try clearing these and then see which ones come back up. So I can't get the engine light to come back on. I cleared the codes and just started it. I even drove it around the shop a little bit. Just testing to see if the air conditioning works. And it's weird because at higher RPMs, oh, now we're getting the flashing. You can see now the engine light is on. So let's go ahead and plug this guy back in and read the code. So the only code that's coming up again is just the cylinder 4 misfire. So I mean that doesn't really help us as far as trying to figure out what it is. So I'll unplug this thing and turn the car back off, and then we'll check out the compression tester and the spark tester, and then see, you know, what we can learn from that. All right, so first I'm gonna test for spark. So I got the spark tester in here. I'm gonna have Gracie start it. How are you gonna push the clutch pedal then?
I know, I got over here and I was like...
Start it.
Whoops!
Yeah. Try it again. There you go. And then just like reach your foot over, just don't hit the shifter. And then I might have you give it gas. So we've got spark. I don't know if you can see that on GoPro. So give it some gas. So it's definitely got spark, so that's good. Oh, you shut it back off now. So now we'll move on to compression. So now I'm gonna pull the plug out. I'm gonna pull the relay for the fuel and the spark, and then we'll test the compression, see how that looks, and then that's gonna be what's gonna tell us if it's got bad compression or good compression, if there's like head gasket issues, ring issues, stuff like that. So we definitely found the problem. So this is cylinder number 1. We've got 150 pounds of pressure. That's after 3 cranks. I'm gonna switch this over and then go ahead and do it on cylinder 4 again. All right, so now let's do cylinder 4. You can go ahead and crank it. So yeah, we have 0 compression. Actually, do it again once. Yeah, gauge doesn't even move. So definitely bad compression. Well, no compression in cylinder 4. I'm gonna go ahead and actually do number 3 as well and just see if that has low compression. Because if that has low compression, it could be a head gasket leak between the 2 cylinders. All right, so now we'll test cylinder 3. All right, go ahead and crank it a few times. All right, so cylinder 3, we've got like 130, 140. That's what cylinder 1 was like. So it's not the head gasket between the cylinders. So I guess we're gonna have to pull the engine out and then see what's wrong with it. All right, so I've got the shop moved around a little bit. I've got Gracie's XP towards the door, and then I've got this silver one towards the back of the shop, and I moved my toolbox over. That's just so I can kind of like work on them both at the same time. I gotta set this over here. I gotta do an oil change on the Legacy, but yeah, I'm super excited for this. It's gonna be really neat to tear this thing down, part it out, and then do the manual swap on this car. I already filmed a introduction to, like, I'm gonna do a series on manual swapping her car, so it'll be really neat because I've never seen anybody ever manual swap one of these in all of my research, so that'll be cool. Yeah, I plan on, you know, like pulling the engine out as well and seeing if I can figure out what's wrong with that, because it'd be pretty neat to have a spare engine in case, you know, this one never goes bad. This one's got 225,000 miles on it, so it's definitely going to need to be rebuilt. I have some people interested in some parts already. I know there's a guy that wants a door because it's rust and dent free. So, I mean, yeah, that'll be cool. Hopefully I can sell the parts pretty easily. You know, I could do some sales on eBay as well, whatever I need to do. But yeah, I'm super excited to do the swap. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a challenge, but it'll be fun. And then I plan on, you know, once I have all the parts off of this car, I'm gonna get rid of that car, you know, just have a scrapyard take it, because we'll have the title. And then I'm gonna put her car against the back wall, and the FRS is gonna go over here, because I also plan on doing a bunch of stuff with that this winter. It's been a lot of fun diagnosing this engine so far. I just wish I would have had the compression tester, spark tester, and the code reader right away. Or, well, not even the code reader. Honestly, I didn't really need that. But it would have saved me a bunch of time. You know, instead of swapping the plugs and the coils from this car, I could have just used a spark tester to see if it had spark. I I knew it had fuel because I could smell the fuel, and then obviously the compression tester told me it was a dead cylinder, so that would have saved me a bunch of time, but oh well, it's still all good fun. But I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. I plan on making a bunch more videos on both of these cars, doing the manual swap and whatnot, but that'll be another day. I got some other stuff to take care of first, and then we'll continue with that. So leave a like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. If you have any questions about any of this, I will be making videos on it, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you in the next one, which next one will probably be tearing this thing down after we drive it and beat the absolute piss out of it, because why wouldn't you, right? Peace, guys.